After seeing the overview about the prospect to cash scenario, we are going into Dynamics 365 for sales and finance and operations to show you the process in real. So starting from an opportunity, we are going to create the specific stages. But before that, we already synchronized the accounts, the contacts, and the contacts to the customers, as well as the products. So all master data is basically synced. So from here, we're going on and creating the quote of this 120 surfaces and starting with the quote creation and the activations. Within the quote, which ends with the set 2 in the number, we have all the information available for the addresses, shipping information, as well as the products assigned. So activating the quote is basically the trigger to send over the information from sales to finance and operations. To do so, we're basically starting the process in the Power Apps admin center. So as mentioned, account contacts and customers as well as products already sync. So going on with the sales quotes from sales to finance and operations, simply running the project and seeing the process and the status of the sync from the quote header to the quote line to finally identify the quote in finance and operations to a certain detail. So as mentioned, the ending of the quote is set to, which is available already now in finance and operations. And opening this quote will basically show us all the information we entered in Dynamics 365 for sales. So for our surfaces in the quantity of 120. So let's say a customer agreed to the quote and we are creating basically an order. So the order is also managed from the sales representative. So he creates the order in Dynamics 365 for sales and activates the sales order. After this activation, we can again send over the sales order to finance and operations to process the entire order and sync back the statuses of this order. And again, you see the task and the task for the header and the line information as is the certain structure. Order is now available in finance and operations, and we are performing some certain steps to finish and create the order. For example, we're creating the pick lists. With that, we're changing the status basically and are syncing back the statuses so that the sales representative has the status of the order always available in Dynamics 365 for sales. So as you can see here in the document status, the status changed from to picking list. And after sending over, after starting the synchronization, which will be done normally automatically in your normal processes, but here just for a reason we're starting it manually. So after the synchronization is done for sending the sales orders from finance and operations to sales, we can see after refreshing the page that the status will change from active towards picked. And this is basically ongoing. So after posting the picking list, the status will, for example, change to shipped. And the final status will be invoiced after we create an invoice. So here, starting with the invoice in finance and operations, we are basically selecting the order, the picked orders, and creating the invoice. So when we look at the details of the invoice, we can identify the invoice number is 723, and the totals include the net amount, the tax, and the full amount. So after running this invoice and the last synchronization in this process, we will again identify all the information in Dynamics 365 for sales. So as you saw here, the processing status just changed to invoiced. You still have all the information available from the detail amount to the tax to the full amount. And as well as you have here the invoice with the number 723 with all the necessary information. and again with the detail amount towards the total amount, including the tax, as this is basically calculated in Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. So summing it up, we created synchronization for account, context to customer, and products for master data, as well the sales quotes, sales orders, and sales invoices.